First off, Dr. Brannon, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for this opportunity, Todd. I appreciate it.
All right, well, we were talking with Congresswoman Renee Elmers about, of course, this big issue that has kind of dropped off the headlines as of recent, mostly because of what's happening in Syria. And that, of course, would be the Obamacare and the fight on whether we should defund it, delay it, just let it go through. Where do you stand on this issue?
This is a beautiful issue to prove who really understands the Constitution and who does not. Those people that say you cannot defund it do not understand their oath. Article 1, Section 7, Clause 1, all appropriations in the House. It's a no-brainer. I had a meeting with Senator Lee about 6 weeks ago. We discussed this fully, and he asked my opinion. That's exactly what I said, because that is the role. The role of the House is to control the purse strings and to defund any unconstitutional act.
Now, is there any concern, because, we were just talking about this, and one of the concerns that I mentioned that I've been hearing from members of the House and sort of political analysts is that they're worried that, yes, you are correct, that the funding aspect is in the House. They control the purse strings. But if they decide to defund it, the Senate says we're not going to do that, and we come to an impasse and the government gets shut down, the Republicans get blamed, and then we're looking at a really, really bad midterms. What would you say to that?
Well, two things. First off is we actually said, according to Senator Lee and Senator Cruz, it's simple. We fund everything but that. That's been done since 1976 with the Hyde Amendment for abortion. So the answer is that historically we have the facts on our side. Number two, it will be actually President Obama and the Senate and Reid and those people who will be blamed for the shutdown. The media may not spin it that way, but that would be the facts. And also historically, when Gingrich stood up in 96, we gained seats in the House, so we did not lose them. So I believe it's actually a different time now because a lot more people are actually awakened with the constitutional rule. But more important, what else do you do? Tell me one time that any program that's passed has actually been gone away. The answer is no. This is our last stand to get rid of this.
Well, I do believe it was Ronald Reagan that said the closest thing to eternal life on this planet is, of course, a government program. And I do agree with that. I guess a lot of people are, discussing which procedure we should use to look at getting rid of Obamacare. Now, some people, I think we saw Congressman Justin Amash the other day talk about delaying it. Do you think that would be suitable, or do you think we have to go for the complete defund?
I think the complete defund is the key at this point. And you're talking about constitutional scholars in Cruz and Lee who went through this. We're talking about men that really understand this backwards and forwards. But we have to understand that the Constitution has enumerated powers. Article 1, Section 8 shows 18 functions. There is no health care. There is no nationalized corporation health care. We're doing this because we're being ruled by men, not the rule of law anymore. That's why this constitutional movement is just booming now, because we're reading those 6 pages, and most of us understand it more than the people in Congress. But this is a clear delineation of what their powers are, and they must stand up to this. And when do you put political, expediency over principle? Principle is what makes this country great.
And I was so glad you were able to join me this morning because for those that don't know, I talked about this yesterday on the show. I had a UNCW college student who is president of the College Republicans, and they are giving out constitutions today on campus because today is Constitution Day. It's, all across the country. And it's funny that that's become somewhat of a partisan issue where you see conservatives, more than likely supporting the Constitution. And you see some liberals that say, whenever you bring it up, that's, that you guys are crazy, you're wing nuts. And how important do you think it is that we get back to, some argue, getting back to the Constitution? Because it seems like every issue, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's the NSA, we seem to be moving so far away or bending the Constitution. How important is it that we get people in office that understand the Constitution and want to follow it?
It's not important. It's crucial. There's nothing else. We are either the rule of law or the rule of men. The rule of men historically has actually made people serfs and plebes. We're the only country ever to this day in history where a republic based upon the individual or the collective has been successful. We've shown that. The last 100 years of progressivism has taken us away from that. And that's in both parties. That's why this is not a party issue. George Washington said, the true keepers of the Constitution are we the people. And Franklin said, actually on this date, in 1787, when the lady asked him, did you give us a monarchy or a republic? He said, republic, man, if you can keep it. That's why this is crucial. There is no other thing than a contract that will hold us together by the rule of law.
And I'm trying to think, the last time I had you on, I can't remember when exactly it was, but maybe since then, of course, we've seen the field here in North Carolina sort of expand with regards to the Senate race. And, of course, we have Speaker Thom Tillis has officially announced, Dr. Mark Harris announced last week out of the Charlotte area. And then, of course, people are waiting to see if we're going to hear anything from Senator Phil Berger. What do you think? Do you think this is a good thing for North Carolina that it looks like we have so many qualified people running for this seat? Or do you think that it's going to sort of, with all these people running, that we could end up getting someone winning the nomination that can't beat Senator Kay Hagan?
Well, a couple things. It is a primary, and, the idea, whoever feels compelled to run for this, but what we're running for is we're running to be an ambassador from the sovereign state of North Carolina to represent us in the Union. We're looking for qualifications. The qualification has to be somebody that has demonstrated their articulation and belief 100% with the Constitution, and then prove if they're an oath keeper. That's all that matters here. We're not looking for anything other than you understand when you swear to uphold the Constitution, in Article 6 of the Constitution, have you proven that that's what you know, that's what you mean. This is not about the greater good. This is not about bringing home the bacon. This is about following the rule of law. If we do not understand the Constitution, then it's irrelevant what we're for. That's a popularity contest. We have to make sure that we need to get a chance to get the Senator Pauls, the Senator Lees, the Senator Cruzes. That is the future. That's the future. We get back to the Republican, get back to the idea of the true republic we are.
And I talked to Dr. Mark Harris. He was on my show a couple weeks ago when he was thinking about running. And I talked to him about how if you look at the three-man race as of right now, Speaker Thom Tillis, some people argue, is more of an establishment candidate. He's been in politics for a while, and he has the connections of an establishment candidate. And then you and Dr. Mark Harris, have never been in political office before and are sort of looked at as the conservative alternative. And I know that you have been officially endorsed by Red State's Eric Erickson?
Publicly said that at the convention, and I'm not exactly sure if there's a quote out there that he said he publicly endorses, but if you look at his Red State speech, the answer, it seems pretty potent there.
And are you concerned at all that if the field stays this three-man race, that you and Dr. Mark Harris could split the conservative vote, and that could lead to maybe Speaker Thom Tillis moving forward, or is that not really a concern of yours?
It's not a concern because we're looking for, again, is what is the qualifications and what's the definition of conservative? Are we going to make sure we're conserving the Constitution or not? That's what this is all about. This is truly about, if you're looking for a pilot, a surgeon, whatever you're looking for expertise in that field. And then if they know the expertise, their character. And I think what we're going to do is show that we are in that mode of the Lees and the Cruzes because we understand the Constitution pretty clearly, how it's been through. And the reason why we're in the positions we are, just what you said, Tyler, a few minutes ago, we're down this path so far because we left the original contract. And I think in this we're going to make this very clear that we understand that.
And, kind of moving on to the general election, Senator Kay Hagan, many people have said that she's going to be some very tough competition because even though she has been sort of aligned with the Obama administration, she hasn't been entirely in line with them, and she's kind of stayed out of the spotlight. How difficult do you think it is, and what strategy would you use to kind of go against Senator Kay Hagan in the general election?
Well, same type of thing here. Nothing is easy. And anybody says that's not true. This is a sitting senator who has, and they do not want to relinquish power. There is no way, so nothing's going to be easy. But we're going to make the same case. The idea of individual sovereignty, the idea of how the individuals prospered in this idea when the progressive has actually taken away that. We go make that message around the state. I think that will resonate because the numbers are showing that's what's occurring. And we're talking about, again, the citizens of North Carolina knowing they're freer when they keep all of their own property and freely associate is a lot better than when the central government takes from everybody the plunder and then distributes it out to keep them in power. That makes people more serfs and plebes, and I think we can articulate that message.
Well, Dr. Greg Brannon, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're very busy because you are a physician up in the Cary area, and of course you are running for Senate. So thanks so much for taking the time this morning to talk to me and my audience, and wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much.
Tyler, thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, and once again, that was Dr. Greg Brannon. He, of course, is running for U.S. Senate here in North Carolina. Now a three-man primary race. Him, Speaker Tom Tillis, and, of course, Dr. Mark Harris of Charlotte. And if you want more information on Dr. Brannon, Greg Brannon. That's gregbrannon.com. That is the website. Go there. Check it out. He's got a great website. Highly recommend it. And just so you know, I had Dr. Brannon on later in the week, tomorrow actually. Dr. Mark Harris will be joining me, and then I am in talks to get Speaker Tom Tillis on. This race is very important. We know how the eyes of the country are going to be on North Carolina, so I'm definitely going to be getting these three men on more and more as we get closer to the primary going forward in 2014. So let's take a quick break here. If you want to give me a phone call, 910-763-4000. It is 8:49. We'll be right back.
He may not be the most worldly guy. He thought Iran was a song by a flock of seagulls.
Tyler Cralle, only on 980 The Way.